guys, welcome to another video of our channel. In this lecture series, we were talking about topics related to computer networks, and there we were talking about OSI models. In our previous two videos, we have covered up to the first 5 layers of OSI model. You can go and check those videos. And now in this video we will be talking about the left 2 layers of OSI model. So one is presentation layer and another one is application layer. So now presentation layer. So what is the working principle of presentation layer here? So the first thing that the presentation layer do is translation of message. So what do you mean by translation of message? So as we know, there are many types of operating system. It can be like Fedora, it can be Linux, it can be Ubuntu, it can be Mac, it can be Windows. So different type of operating system have their different type of language. That means different type of formats of text. So whenever suppose a sender wants to send a message and he is using a Mac and the receiver is using Windows, so the message communication will hamper. So there what happens, the presentation layer actually translate the text of the sender, and it translates the text and it generates a common text format which is accepted globally, and then the receiver receives the message. That's how the presentation layer helps us in using cross-platform, or better say different OSI, different operating system to communicate with different operating system using this translation. Then what presentation layer do? Presentation layer works with the encryption. What do you mean by encryption? Encryption means security of a message. In our next some topics we will cover encryption and decryption in details. So then you will be able to understand what is encryption and what is decryption. So now I will give you some basic knowledge that we have talked a lot about security of message till now. So what encryption happens? There are a lot of encryption decryption rules like Caesar cipher, then Hill cipher, Ralphus cipher, Fistel cipher. We will be talking about all those things in cryptography when we will be discussing these things about cryptography, and this encryption and decryption is a huge part which will be covered in cryptography. So encryption means covering up some messages. Suppose this is the message, and covering up this message with some extra security words, or better say some other thing, so that the message have the most security until it reaches the receiver. So this is how presentation layer helps us in OSI model, and it is implemented in OSI model to give security to the message. So the next one is decryption. So what is the working of decryption? Decryption means when we are encrypting a message, that means we are adding some external bits, or sometimes it happens that we were removing some bits from the message and replacing these things with others. So each and every encrypted message have some decrypted format with which we can get the actual format of the actual message. So these things are done in the presentation layer. So encryption is done in the presentation layer of the sender side, and decryption is done in the presentation layer of the receiver side. So the next layer is application layer. So what happens there? Let's see. So now application layer. So what is there in application layer? Suppose if I ask you right now to search some topics which we have discussed in our website, which is Gain Your Code. So what will you do? You will just open the Google Chrome and you will write on the search bar Gain Your Code, or better say you will write www.gainyourcode.com. So if you notice very carefully, then you will find that you have searched this one. But after your search is complete, if you look on that search bar, then you can find that there is http://www.gainyourcode.com. So why certainly this HTTP occurs? The full form of HTTP is Hypertext Transfer Protocol. This Hypertext Transfer Protocol, or HTTP, basically works with the web pages. www, World Wide Web. It works with the web pages. So whenever you are searching for a web page on Google, or better say any search engine, you will definitely find that HTTP is there. So this is the working of application layer. There you can sometimes find HMTP, which is Simple Mail Transfer Protocol. This basically handles the email section. Then sometimes you can find FTP, File Transfer Protocol, which works with the transferring files from one host to another. Then you can find somewhere Telnet, which works with the terminal, which means terminal network. And sometimes you can find SSH, secure shell. So these things are controlled, maintained by application layer. All of these things have their particular working sector, working area. HTTP works with web page, and these things are basically maintained, controlled, whatever you want to say. These things are done by the application layer of OSI model. So we can say that application layer of OSI model plays a vital role in communication of messages, or in communication between two systems connected to a different network, connected to same network, whatever you want to say. So application layer is a very vital layer, and the working principle of these things is very important, and we need to know our application layer very deeply and very carefully. And in our future lectures we will be talking about application layers in detail, that how HTTP, SMTP, FTP, all these things works in application layer and how they are placed there. So we will go in depth with application layer in our next upcoming videos. So after completing all the layers of OSI model, now we would like to go with the drawbacks of OSI model. Is it completely fruitful for communication of messages? We will see those things in drawback of OSI model. So let's see. So now the drawbacks of OSI model. There are a lot of drawbacks of OSI model, but we will be talking about 3 of them. So first of all, OSI model was introduced after the introduction of OSI model. It was introduced at that time when the world is widely using TCP/IP protocol suite for their intercommunication between the systems. So when OSI model was introduced, the experts were so excited and they thought that OSI model would be replaced fully by the TCP/IP protocol suite, and OSI model will be used worldwide for the intercommunication between the systems. But the drawbacks of OSI model stopped them. So what are the drawbacks? The first drawback of OSI model was TCP/IP protocol suite was introduced days ago from OSI model. So the implementation of OSI model replacing by TCP/IP protocol suite would cost a lot. TCP/IP protocol suite was implemented using lot of money and using a lot of time. So replacement of OSI model would again cause a lot of money and cause a lot of investment of time. This was the first drawback of OSI model. The second one was presentation layer and session layer. If we look very carefully at the presentation layer and the session layer, then we can find that the protocols of presentation layer and session layer are not described fully. Better say the presentation layer and the session layer was not described fully. Apart from the protocols, the other things that includes presentation layer and session layer, they were not fully described anywhere regarding presentation layer and session layer. This was the another drawback, and also the software using which the presentation layer and the session layer will work, those things were not developed fully. So this was the second drawback of OSI model. And the third drawback of OSI model is, whenever OSI model was introduced, organization worked with OSI model and they have implemented in network for intercommunication of systems, then the outcome from OSI model was not that much convincing, so that they would replace OSI model with TCP/IP protocol suite. This was the another drawback of OSI model. So because of those OSI models, because of those drawbacks of OSI models, OSI model was not fully replaced by TCP/IP protocol suite till days. Thank you. Keep watching our videos, and we will see you in the next upcoming video. Thank you.